Okay, so if you're a high-performing individual, you probably know that feeling, right?
Yeah. You've achieved so much, you're really at the top of your game.
Exactly. But deep down, maybe something feels a bit off.
Or just missing. Or maybe, honestly, just plain exhausted. Like, right on the edge of burnout.
Totally. But listen, you're definitely not alone in feeling that. And you certainly didn't push yourself this hard just to, well, burn out.
No, you came here to actually live.
You came to live. And that's really the core message we're diving into today.
Right. We're going a bit beyond just the usual business strategy stuff.
Yeah, we want to explore what it really means to lead with intention, to live fully, and, to actually flourish in everything.
And we're going to do that by unpacking the insights from two, I think, really visionary mentors, Dina Brown-Mitchell and Christopher Armani.
The minds behind Wolfpack Mentors.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about them a bit.
Dina.
Wow. Best-selling author, award-winning entrepreneur, event producer.
And she's built and rebuilt 7 businesses.
7? That's incredible.
Yeah.
And her own story, going from severe burnout and, well, regret,
Yeah.
to intentionally building this life of purpose. That's the wisdom she's sharing now, right?
Yeah.
Helping others avoid that endless grind.
Precisely, guiding them towards something more fulfilling than just, traditional success.
And then there's Christopher. He brings this whole other angle on finishing things, on legacy.
Right. A prolific writer. I'm an author of over 50 books, mentor, publisher.
50 books. Just think about that for a second.
It's amazing. And he talks about being stuck for 10 years in what he calls unfinished manuscript land.
Huh? I think a few of us might know that place.
Probably. But he broke through. And now his mission is really about empowering leaders to tell their stories, finish what they start.
Create work that actually lasts. Meaningful work.
And together they've got this really compelling philosophy. You didn't come this far to burn out. You came to live.
It was more than just a catchy phrase, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real call to action for high performers to get back their time, their creativity.
Reconnect with their purpose. So, let's dive in deeper. Beyond the impressive bios, who are they really? What drives them?
Well, what's really interesting, I think, is how open they both are about their own vulnerabilities, their personal stories. That's clearly shaped their drive to serve.
Like Dina, for example. She's a suicide survivor, founder of a nonprofit, a huge advocate for mental health.
Yeah, you can tell she genuinely cares about people. She wants to help entrepreneurs with those big ideas actually reach their next milestones.
She built all those successful businesses, but then losing a friend to suicide, losing a multi-million-dollar business during COVID.
Right. She says that's when she felt this really clear calling to create the real-life foundation for suicide prevention.
That journey sort of solidified her faith, didn't it? Showed her her true purpose.
Exactly. It's a powerful transformation. And it does seem like those really profound personal experiences often spark that deeper sense of purpose.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Christopher's background, too, reveals this deep commitment to integrity.
He talks about a challenging childhood, how books were his escape.
Finding inspiration in characters like Zane Grey's heroes.
Who always did the right thing, even when it was tough, or maybe not in their own best interest.
And that really instilled something in him, this desire to live with integrity, a value he now shares with Dina.
Absolutely. You can see their partnership is built on those shared core values: integrity, service, pushing each other to be better.
So that shared foundation, that's what kind of sparked their collaboration.
Seems like it. They met at a Pager Dio challenge, apparently, and just kept bumping into each other at events in breakout rooms.
Huh. Like the universe was telling them something.
Maybe. There was this unspoken message like, we should connect outside of this.
And they were both kind of frustrated with online tech, spending money on coaches, courses.
Yeah, things that just weren't quite hitting the mark for them. They commiserated over that.
Especially navigating complex tech stacks, which, let's be honest, can be a nightmare.
Oh, definitely. But then they found Go High Level, this all-in-one marketing and sales platform.
And that was a breakthrough. Like, okay, this is the right thing.
Yeah, for themselves and for their clients. And solving that tech problem also got them thinking, rethinking what a mastermind could actually be.
Right, because you might hear Wolfpack Mentors and just think, oh, another mastermind group.
But it's really not that simple. Their own struggles kind of led them to rethink the whole model.
How so? What did they do differently?
Well, they started small, handpicked a few people for 2 free beta groups. One had 4 people, the other 5.
Okay, really small, focused.
Exactly. To test their theory about how to genuinely help people move forward, hit their goals. That became the foundation.
So those beta groups, they led to this unique structure they use now. What is it about their hot seat approach that's different?
Well, Christopher explains it based on Napoleon Hill's original concept. A true mastermind is a small group pooling wisdom to solve one person's problem. And that's how Wolfpack is set up. They have these accountability packs, max 4 people.
So everyone gets a turn.
Everyone gets a turn in the hot seat. You bring your big challenge, your pressing problem, and the whole group focuses just on solving it for you. Laser focus.
Wow. And the feedback from the beta groups reflected that.
Incredibly consistent feedback, yeah. People saying things like they'd blow off every other call, but they'd never miss this one.
Because they were getting real, tangible value.
Exactly. Specific questions answered, problem solved.
Okay.
And they could help others too, which ties into that value of selfless service.
Which feels pretty rare sometimes, doesn't it? That genuine desire to help without expecting something back immediately.
It really does.
It sounds incredibly supportive. But for high performers, people used to maybe going it alone, is there ever resistance to being that vulnerable, even in what they call a sacred container?
That's a great question. I think the structure helps build that trust. The packs meet weekly, Q&As are monthly, they even have weekly tech open office hours.
So you're never stuck for long.
Right. They emphasize, we don't want anyone stuck for more than 7 days. And they're really clear. They aren't gurus. They're not saviors.
They're facilitators, helping you get the support you need.
Exactly. Which leads to an interesting point. It's one thing to coach others, but how do they apply these principles themselves?
Right. What were their big personal lessons? Overcoming burnout, finishing projects?
Well, Dana is very open about her own experience with overwork, losing that multi-million-dollar business.
Well, what was the biggest lesson from that for her?
She says it profoundly strengthened her faith. Her dad always told her, God has a plan for you. She believed it, but
going through those losses, her friend, her business, made it real.
yeah, it truly solidified that belief. She felt that clear calling to start the realized foundation.
And she recognizes now that if those hard things hadn't happened,
She might never have pursued that deeper purpose. She actually sounds thankful for it in a way, because now she gets to balance her business passion with the nonprofit work.
that's quite a perspective shift. And Christopher's journey, struggling with that unfinished project for 15 years, that hits home for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone who's ever had a book idea or any big project just sitting there.
What finally flipped the switch for him after 15 years?
He says he just got so utterly sick of never finishing a first draft. Just fed up.
That fed up point Deana mentioned earlier.
Exactly. He finally became willing to try the things he'd always refused, thinking they wouldn't work, like outlining.
And he realized he was grossly wrong.
Yep. Now he considers outlining the only way to write a book, at least for him. It was about finally being willing to try a different way.
He makes writing a book sound simple, though.
Yeah.
Sit down, hands on keyboard, right?
He does describe the act as simple. The hard part, he says, is just getting your butt in the chair.
Ah, the classic challenge.
Right. And following that simple 3-step plan, decide. Act immediately. Repeat.
Decide, act, repeat. Seems straightforward.
But he points out that the space between deciding and acting, that's where fear, self-doubt, the whole I'm not good enough chorus lives for high performers.
Mm-hmm.
So the key isn't just knowing the steps. It's tackling those internal thoughts, reprogramming how your brain reacts to discomfort.
That's crucial. It's not just about willpower, it's about mindset. And butt in the chair might feel different for a high performer facing those specific fears. Perfectionism, huge expectations.
Definitely. He also mentioned his discipline journey started way earlier, around age 20, with racquetball.
Racquetball, how did that connect?
He realized if he could just outlast his opponents physically, he could win. So fitness, daily training, that became his starting point for discipline.
Building the muscle of consistency.
Exactly. Which he then applied to writing. Built a daily writing habit through a blog for nearly 20 years.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
He even left the movie industry partly because he couldn't maintain that daily discipline and do, as he puts it, the thing that actually makes his heart sing.
That commitment to the core thing, the writing.
Yeah. Which ties into how they view living intentionally and flourishing now. Christopher emphasizes just being faithful to the process, doing what you say you'll do.
When you say you'll do it. whether you feel like it or not.
Right, doing the uncomfortable thing. He says it gets easier with repetition, becomes second nature eventually, building that internal muscle again.
And for Dina, living intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
that's reflected in her book, right? Her shower genius framework.
Yes, exactly. It's a 12-step framework she developed after her own business burnout to reclaim her life.
A way to assess yourself, transform your business, so you're not the bottleneck, not always putting yourself last.
Mm-hmm. She talks about working 18-hour days, always saying no to friends, family. She realized she had to stop.
Her message being, you can have a thriving business and a life. They're not mutually exclusive.
Such an important message. And what about flourishing? How do they define that?
For Dina, it sounds like really enjoying what you do, furthering your passion and purpose.
Being a source of light and joy for others around you.
Yeah. And Christopher adds that for him, flourishing is about deep fulfillment.
Which can come from different places, right? Writing sales copy, doing something for his wife, solving a client's problem.
But ultimately, it's about living in a state of profound gratitude.
Gratitude. That feels key. So is there a difference then between flourishing and just, say, thriving?
Christopher makes an interesting distinction. He suggests you can survive as a lone wolf.
But you can only thrive with a pack.
Right. He kind of equates thriving with being successful in that traditional sense. Making money, achieving goals.
Okay.
While flourishing feels maybe more other-focused.
Yeah.
Involving service, a deeper fulfillment beyond just personal wins.
So related but distinct. Thriving is maybe success, flourishing is success plus meaning and impact.
Something like that. One about personal success, the other about a more expansive impact and feeling.
Which leads perfectly into why so many successful entrepreneurs still feel like something's missing, even after achieving so much.
What's their take on that?
Christopher's answer is pretty direct, because too many of us are trying to do it all alone.
Ah, the lone wolf trap again.
Exactly. He stresses that tech can solve some problems, sure, but people are the real answer.
If you're not connected with others who get it, who share the struggles, who will help without needing something back.
It's just incredibly hard to sustain success and avoid feeling isolated at the top.
And Dina adds another layer. What's often missing is purpose.
She noticed in her previous businesses she found accomplishment, success, sales, but still felt empty sometimes without a deeper why.
She mentions Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, that idea of the zone of excellence versus the zone of genius.
Right. Zone of excellence is where you're really good, maybe even brilliant, but it still feels like work.
Zone of genius is where you operate from natural talent, joy.
Yeah.
It feels effortless, almost.
Yeah. And she realized she'd been operating mostly in her zone of excellence. Highly successful, but
her nonprofit work, that connected to her heart, her unique purpose, that was her zone of genius.
which points to this common belief, maybe a misconception, among high achievers.
That you have to keep it all inside. Carry all the weight. Never talk about the real struggle, financial stuff, employee issues.
Exactly. She thinks that's just fundamentally wrong. Open conversations with peers are essential for improvement, growth, learning, especially for leaders.
Which is why things like masterminds and networking groups are so popular when done right. They provide that needed support.
And she also makes the point that everyone has a unique purpose, a unique skill set. You can't really steal someone else's core idea or genius.
So finding your unique genius is key. If you're successful but still feel lost or unfulfilled.
Absolutely.
So what kind of people end up in the wolf pack? And what makes them stick around?
Dina says it's driven people, big ideas, want to make things happen, but they've hit a point where they realize they need support, not just more information.
They're past the course collecting stage.
Right. And they stay because they get that unique mixed support, practical help, real camaraderie, honest feedback.
A community where people actually get the pressures of high-level achievement.
Yeah, incredibly supportive. Christopher echoes that. He says Wolfpack helps solve the 3 biggest pains for entrepreneurs: working alone, feeling isolated,
And not knowing your next crucial step.
right. Because someone in the group has almost always been exactly where you are right now. They can offer really specific, valuable advice.
And that weekly accountability cycle is key, isn't it? Reporting back, tackling problems again if they're not solved.
Crucial. And get this, he says he and Dina, as driven as they are, still rely on each other for accountability within their own pack.
Wow. They practice what they preach, even at their level.
Absolutely. Which reinforces that idea of doing the uncomfortable thing. That's where the success is waiting.
It's that daily battle, isn't it? Against procrastination, the inner critic, especially when you're aiming high.
Definitely. And this all connects to their upcoming retreat, Lead Like a Wolf, the Ascent.
Right. Dina described it as something she's been wanting to do for 3 years.
It sounds intense, but in a good way. Deliberately small, intimate group happening in January.
Combining her shower genius framework with the wolf pack processes.
Yeah, the first evening is about networking, social time, kind of easing into that trust space.
But the first morning, she says that's arguably the most important part.
Focusing on the start of her framework. Assessing where you are now, acknowledging what's really not working.
And figuring out the fundamental change you need to make. It starts with getting fed up, she says.
Because if you're not truly deeply fed up with the status quo, you won't genuinely change.
She even has this exercise called the value of ranting. Just ranting to yourself.
Yeah. And apparently things you didn't even consciously know were bothering you will surface. Hitting blockages, desires, really valuable for busy people.
There's a 12-step framework you can revisit too, right? Like monthly?
For continuous self-assessment and growth, the core idea is working on yourself first.
To dictate the changes needed in your business. Delegation, boundaries, whatever it is.
Flipping the script, essentially. Your life dictates your business, not the other way around.
They call the retreat a sacred container. What does that actually mean in practice, especially for leaders used to keeping up a strong front?
It means creating that safe space. Small group, high trust, vulnerability, authenticity are the goals.
A place to be real about problems without fear of judgment.
Exactly. Dina really believes people are craving a space to talk openly with peers at their level about the real challenges.
Because for too long, those conversations weren't seen as okay.
But they're essential for growth, connection, building stronger businesses and stronger people. The ultimate goal is helping you figure out, who do I need to become to have this level of success?
Powerful question. Shifting gears slightly to creativity and legacy. Christopher, Mr. 50 Books.
Yeah.
What's his advice for entrepreneurs feeling stuck, sharing their stories, maybe writing their own book?
His advice is powerful because it's so simple. Just do it.
Back to the butt-in-the-chair philosophy.
Pretty much. Back to his 3 steps. Decide to write, sit down and write, repeat. He insists it really is that simple.
If you deal with the internal resistance.
Exactly. He acknowledges the difficulty isn't usually the writing itself. It's confronting the fears, the feelings of not worthiness.
That internal pile of crap, as he bluntly puts it.
Right. He says once you set that aside and just do what you're meant to do, cool things happen every single time.
He also encourages writers to focus on the reader, doesn't he?
Yes. If your reader has a problem you can solve and you don't write the book, they stay stuck.
And he believes there's a specific audience waiting just for your message delivered in your way.
Yeah, only you can reach them in that unique way. It's a really profound call to purpose for anyone holding back a story or solution.
And Dina, with her 7 businesses, she must have some perspective on when it's time to pivot or let go or start something new.
Oh, for sure. She talks about how some businesses naturally end, like her first snowball stand after high school. Another perfume business was just a bad decision she closed.
The big event company was impacted by COVID, but she was planning to sell it anyway.
Seems so. Now she really views the Realize Foundation and Wolfpack Mentors as her life's work, deeply aligned with her purpose.
So her advice for high achievers feeling stagnant.
If you have a business and you're just not having fun, not enjoying it, or it's not fulfilling you, it's time for a serious, honest look.
Don't just keep grinding if the passion or purpose is gone.
Right. So looking at all this work, what legacy do they hope to leave?
For Dina, with the Realize Foundation, the message is clear. Reduce suicide rates. Let people know there's hope. They're not alone.
And she sees that bleeding into the business world too. Entrepreneurs, executives, they also need to know they're not alone. Help is available.
She mentioned being surprised but happy that personal coaching is now the #1 thing execs are asking for at shows.
Yeah, seeking help not just for business tactics, but for self-care, mental well-being, that's a huge shift.
It really is. And Christopher's legacy for writing.
To make sure no one else goes through those 15 years of insanity and self-imposed stupidity, as he puts it, there's an easier way to share your message.
And for Wolfpack.
Similar, but focused on tech and mindset. Save people the frustration of clunky tech solutions.
And help them overcome the mindset blocks that keep them from operating consistently in their zone of genius.
Yeah. If he can help people overcome those hurdles and truly flourish, he feels like he's done his part.
Wow. What a really insightful conversation we've had here. We've covered a lot.
We really have. The power of the pack versus going it alone.
Finding that unique purpose, that zone of genius.
And just the simple but profound impact of consistent discipline, not just for success, but for real fulfillment.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that for high performers, it's not just about the output. It's about that inner alignment.
Definitely. So as you're listening to this, maybe take a moment. What does flourishing truly mean to you, beyond just thriving or being successful in the usual ways?
Is it fulfillment, service, something else?
And maybe think about this too. What's that one uncomfortable action you've kind of been avoiding? The one that, if you actually did it, could genuinely unlock your next level of success and fulfillment.
Yeah, that's a good thought to sit with. That's your call to action for today, maybe. And if you're listening and thinking, okay, I need this kind of shift, a really great first step could be their free clarity quiz.
Right. It's at wolfpackmentors.com/quiz. Helps you figure out what's really holding you back, tailored for high performers.
Good starting point. You can also find out more about that retreat we mentioned, Lead Like a Wolf, the Ascent.
Yeah, the sacred container to work on yourself and your business. That's on their main site, wolfpackmentors.com.
And put this on your calendar, August 1st. They're doing a masterclass.
Specifically for entrepreneurs feeling like they're missing out on life, designed to give you actual solutions, ways to embrace self-care without losing your drive.
Sounds incredibly relevant.
Definitely. And for just ongoing support insights, you can connect with Dina and Christopher on Facebook.
The main page is facebook.com/the Wolfpack Mentors.
And their personal ones are facebook.com/Dina B. Mitchell. That's Dina B. Mitchell.
Got it.
And facebook.com/Christopher Manny. CHRNTOPHERDMANI.
Perfect. Lots of ways to connect and keep exploring these ideas.